Thank you to Blinkist for sponsoring today's video. Welcome to Subbrief's Naval News. You could be me. Or you could be a member of the Advantage Suite, which is a tanker that was boarded by the Iranians this past week. This tanker was a flagged Marshall Islands ship going from Kuwait to Houston, Texas, where oil belongs naturally. It's its natural home. And this is the 5th ship that Iran has seized in the last 2 years. So what the hell's going on? Where's the U.S. Navy at? Why aren't we kicking these sailors and Marines off this ship and freeing it, right? And why haven't we done it in the past couple years? Well, the truth is, and this is what we're going to talk about today, the U.S. hasn't escorted tankers through the Straits of Hormuz since the 1980s. Yeah. In the 1990s, the Navy's strategy changed from protect the sea lanes to from the sea. And this emphasized littoral warfare and was the birth idea, the nugget of the LCS program. So let's go all the way back to September 1992, a white paper published called From the Sea. The Navy and Marine Corps announced a landmark shift in operational force and reordering of coordinated priorities in the naval service. The fundamental shift was a direct result of the changing strategic landscape away from having to deal with a global maritime threat, the USSR and the Red Banner Fleet, toward projecting power and influence across the seas in response to regional challenges. Here you can see the numerous operations that we supported from the sea in the 1990s. It was a seismic shift in our policy that has long since been forgotten, but I'm reminding you of it today. In the 1990s, you can see the Navy's budget was also slashed by billions after billions of dollars year after year, while the Navy was taking what money it had left and funding the littoral warfare design, the Freedom class, the Independence class, the Zumwalt, which would be this massive destroyer surrounded by unmanned vehicles in the future. And now here we are in the future, we see how those programs panned out. So the United States shifted away from globalization decades ago, and author Peter Zions explains this well in his book, The End of the World is Just the Beginning. And today's sponsor can help you understand Peter's book in a blink. Let me take a moment to tell you about Blinkist. Blinkist is an app that saves me time by condensing over 5,500 nonfiction audiobooks into 15-minute blinks. I just finished Peter Zions' The End of the World is Just the Beginning. Peter breaks down how the end of globalization is going to affect the global economy. And he doesn't just focus on the United States. He talks about China and Russia, the European Union, and all the Middle Eastern countries as well. It's a very well-written book. And I love how Blinkist shows the text and reads the audio at the same time. And the simple visual format helps maintain my attention. Reading along with the audio also compounds my ability to comprehend and remember the important points of the book. I highly recommend Peter's book, The End of the World is Just the Beginning. I love the new Blinkist Connect feature as well. You can share your Blinkist premium account with a friend at no additional cost. That gives them complete premium access to Blinkist. It's like a 2-for-1 deal. You can even recommend titles and share favorites with each other. It's really cool. You got to try the Blinkist Connect feature. Now you can get 25% off Blinkist Premium and enjoy 2 memberships for the price of 1. Start your 7-day free trial by clicking on my link below. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about some intel ships that are making the news right now. First, let's begin with the Russian research vessel Admiral Vladimirsky. She's mapping undersea cables and pipelines, including power lines that are going to wind farms in the North and Baltic Seas right now. She was the subject of a show called Putin's Shadow War. I recommend you guys check that out. This ship is a Project 852 class Russian ship. She's one of one, very specific build. She's 9,200 tons, makes about 20 knots, and she's based out of Kronstadt. Now, she was decommissioned for a short time, or out of service technically, and then brought back into service and overhauled in 2019. And she now has 26 laboratories and a crew of about 120 people, both sailors and scientists, that record this data and can pinpoint specific locations of objects of opportunity or of interest on the sea floor. That's what she's doing right now. Now, if anything comes of this, we'll do a follow-up on this. But right now, everything she's doing is within the legal bounds of international water operations. Nothing out of the ordinary there. But just understand that these undersea resources now have been pinpointed by Russia. This, by the way, is not a new thing. They've been doing this for decades. Okay. Saab, let's shift gears over to Saab. Saab has delivered its first new construction since it took over the shipyard in Poland from ThyssenKrupp some 10 years ago. This new construction ship that has just been finished and turned over to the Swedish Navy is called Artemis. It is a signals intelligence ship. A very cool design. She's laid down in 2018. Artemis is going to replace Orion, which is in service now and has been since the 1980s, doing the same job. But what's better about this ship is, one, it has better crew facilities, so everyone's going to be a lot more comfortable. She can house up to 40 people, a little bit bigger. But most importantly for her mission is she's much more quieter on the electromagnetic scale. So that makes her sensitive instruments that are recording and surveying the electromagnetic spectrum perform much better. So that's really the big improvement here. So new ship, 3,000 tons, 40-man crew up to that. It doesn't need 40 people, apparently. A lot of those apparently are the signals intelligence officers, but can have up to 40 people on board. And then finally, let's talk about the USS Jimmy Carter for no other reason than it just fits in this category. And I absolutely love this ship. And I want to welcome to this part of the video the National Security Agency, the Defense Intelligence Agency, Office of Naval Operations over there. And I see you in the back, FBI. Yeah, don't you at me, bro. I know. Everything's cool. I'm going to be reading this public information from this website called 1945.com that I recommend you guys go check out. Okay, so the Jimmy Carter was laid down in the 1990s, specifically 1998. Commissioned in 2005, she's the third of 3 Seawolf classes. And the Seawolf was the pinnacle of American submarine design at the end of the Cold War, like the best that we could design and build. And she's the third one of this. But she was modified heavily to do intelligence gathering operations and other operations that are not spoken of that increased her size and displacement up to 12,000 tons. It's actually a little bit bigger than that, and 435 feet long. She's made out of HY100, which can dive all the way down to feet and goes, hey. Anyway, apparently I'm being redacted here. Okay. She goes over 25 knots. All right. And makes 95 decibels is the public number apparently on this website. Listen, if you're using decibels to measure the sound signature of the Jimmy Carter, that's like saying the Mona Lisa looks pretty good from over here. You want to use micropascal, and if you understand why that's important, you're the kind of engineer we need in the Navy. Hell, we need you as an officer or as a sonarman, and we need you on the Jimmy Carter, okay? So micropascal, if that means something to you, you're the person we're looking for. So this extensively modified submarine is pump jet propelled, like all the other Seawolves are, has 8 torpedo tubes, 24-foot large bow sonar array, which is incredible. And then there's a wide aperture flank arrays going down the side. And many of you didn't know this, but she didn't have when she was commissioned, but she does now. They added that. So she's got the full sonar kit, man. Her reinforced sail allows her to go under ice, those under ice operations up there with the Ruskies. And she is the mothership to unmanned underwater vehicles that can also support special forces operations, right? She does it all. And in 2017, she came back from what is known officially as Mission 7, where she was awarded the Presidential Unit Citation. Now, when submarines get that award, it's not public record what they did. But as a sailor who was fortunate enough to be assigned to submarines that received the puck during my time in the Navy, I can tell you it was quite an interesting time. And so if you want to have some exciting times in your life, if you're, coming out of high school or even college and are just wondering what in the world you're going to do with your life now, getting on board the Jimmy Carter, I think, is a great idea. Check that out. Okay. I think I'll get redacted for that. Yeah, I guess we'll find out. Bar the door. We might be getting a visit. Hey, Jane, you're looking good today. You bump up the oxygen in that thing? Yeah?
I am.
Mind if I get a hit? Can we get some of that? Oh, yeah, that's the stuff right there.
FBI, open up!
Quick, hit the dump button.